Good evening and welcome to the channel's studios here in London with your international news around the world in 5. South Korean MPs have begun impeachment proceedings against President Yoon Suk-yeol after thwarting his shock move to impose martial law. The president had said martial law was needed to protect the country from North Korea's communist forces and to eliminate anti-state elements. Though he cited North Korea, President Yoon's decision was seen as a response to domestic pressure and a series of scandals. Less than 2 hours after his declaration, MPs forced their way into the National Assembly and voted to block his decision. After the Assembly vote, President Yoon announced he was reversing his martial law decision. MPs will now vote on his impeachment in the coming days.
We were not aware. We're obviously watching this very carefully. Very good to see that the martial law edict was withdrawn by President Yoon after the Parliament voted against it. And for us, this is one of the most critical alliances that we have anywhere in the world. South Korean democracy is one of the most powerful stories anywhere in the world. It's very important that any disputes, differences, political differences be resolved peacefully and pursuant to the rule of law. That's what we're seeing now. That's what's so important to sustain.
Netumbo Nandi-Ndaitwah from the governing Southwestern African People's Organization has been voted in as Namibia's first female president after last week's disputed election.
I'm echoing also what the president has said.
The Electoral Commission said she had won with more than 57% of the vote, with her closest rival, Panduleni Itula, getting 26%. Following logistical problems and a 3-day extension to polling in some parts of the country, Itula said the electoral process was deeply flawed, and his party said it would challenge the results in court. Human rights groups in Guinea say they believe more than 135 football fans were killed in a crush at a stadium on Saturday, most of them children. The figure, which is unverified, far exceeds the official number of deaths at 56. The group said the estimate was based on information from hospital, cemeteries, witnesses at the stadium, families of victims, mosques, churches, and the local media. More than 50 others are still missing, it said. The military government, however, has warned against spreading unverified information, saying that its investigations are ongoing into the tragedy in the country's second largest city. The Philippines says the China Coast Guard has fired water cannon and sideswiped a government vessel in the South China Sea. On Wednesday, Manila released a video appearing to show a Chinese Coast Guard ship blasting water at a Philippines Fisheries Department vessel. The incident happened near the disputed Scarborough Shoal, and Beijing said it had acted in accordance with the law. The US ambassador to the Philippines condemned China's unlawful use of water cannon and dangerous maneuvers. Cuba's national electricity system has collapsed once again after the country's largest power plant failed, the latest of several such failures as the island's grid falls into disarray amid fuel shortages, natural disaster and economic crisis. The system failure has left the capital Havana almost completely in the dark. The country's energy and mines minister said the Antonio Guterres power plant in Matanzas, the island's top electricity producer, had shut down at around 2 a.m., prompting the grid to collapse. Authorities added they were working to reconnect the system. And an asteroid has lit up the sky in Russia's remote far eastern region of Yakutia, producing a fireball before likely burning up in the atmosphere. The Emergencies Ministry in Yakutia said all official bodies had been placed on alert as the asteroid approached, but that no damage had been reported after its descent. Astronomers said the asteroid was a small one, but it was still quite spectacular, visible for hundreds of kilometres. And that's your international news around the world in 5. Now back to the channel's studios in Lagos.